Hey, X-Dancers, Anthony Rose. West Coast Swing is what we're doing today. We are going to be demystifying West Coast Swing. It's really, really not as complicated as you might think, so stick around. All right, so let me guess. Some of you guys have tried West Coast Swing and it's really, really complicated. It's really, really not. You've tried it, you've had difficulties with it. Maybe you've done other dance styles and you're just having trouble understanding West Coast Swing. The truth is there's only so many things in West Coast Swing that you can do. There's just a handful of things and then 100 different ways to do that handful of things. So today we are covering side passes in multiple variations, bunch of different ways that you can do the same thing. And by the way, if you guys are new to this channel, welcome. There's a little button down here and that button says subscribe. And if you hit that button, just mash on it, then you become an X-Dancer and then you know when all of the awesome stuff happens here on the channel. So we're gonna demonstrate what we're gonna teach and then we're gonna break it down. All right guys, the awesome thing about this is we're gonna do one thing but it's gonna look like a bunch of stuff, okay? So what you're gonna learn today is one thing and a bunch of different ways to do it, okay? So this is called a side pass, and there's a lot of different ways to do this, all right? So we've got a basic left side pass, an underarm pass, what we call a right side pass, and then we've got other variations that we could add to this as we go. This is just the same stuff over and over and over. All right, so we're gonna break down some of that stuff. All right guys, so what we've gotta do is we've gotta teach you this one pattern, this concept of a side pass, okay? So now there is no basic step of West Coast Swing, there are basic steps, okay? Now we're gonna link to a video here in the corner, we'll put it down in the description that has a version of the basic steps. Definitely watch that one, but right now we're covering side passes. So let's show you the footwork for each partner, and then we'll kind of get a little bit deeper into it. All right guys, the idea of West Coast Swing is you have this slot, and again, if you haven't watched that video, be sure to watch that. But Rose is gonna start over here on the side of this slot, and she's gonna be moving over here to the other side. Now my slot kind of moves side to side, so as she's moving forward and back, I'm moving side to side to get out of her way to allow her to pass. So let's talk about the count and the footwork a little bit. Now every pattern in West Coast Swing, pretty much everything, the first two counts of every pattern, the follower starts moving towards leader. And the easiest way to do that is that she walks. She's gonna start with her right foot and she walks forward for one, she continues to walk for two, and I get out of her way. So if we just break down those two counts, because we teach everything in sections of 2 beats, more on that in a second. She's gonna move forward for one, I move straight back, and then I begin to get out of her way as I step to the side and begin to rotate, but she stays forward for count 2. That is gonna be section 1. Now, section 2, I'm out of her way, so I stay out of her way as I bring my feet together for 3, and she is still progressing forward, and then I step back into the slot for count 4. So right now we're focusing on the leader's footwork. He's going to step back, out of the way for 2, and he steps 3, and back into the slot to kind of square it with her. Now for Rose's footwork here, she kind of has a curving yet traveling triple step, okay? So triple means 3 steps, 2 beats of music. She's gonna step forward for 1, 2. Now if you watch that, she's gonna continue to move, but she's gonna go step, cross, step, and by the end of count 4, she should be basically facing me. Now we just have our anchor set with, this is section 3, we just do a triple step in place. So all together what you have is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Now a lot of you guys have done this. This is probably like one of the first things that you learn, and it should be the first thing that you learn. By the way, if you guys have tried West Coast Swing and you start out with a sugar push, you should probably spank your dance teacher, because that's not, I'm totally teasing, not the basic step. It is one of the basic steps, but it's not the first thing you should learn. The first thing we've got to do here is understand that whatever we do beyond this point, all the stuff that we showed you guys a minute ago is just this. It's just the same thing. It just looks different, okay? So she has 1, I'm moving backwards, I step out of the way for count 2. Now she's traveling as I stay out of her way for 3, and hey, there's you again, we're facing each other, and then we have that anchor in place. My weight's on my right, her weight's on the left. So let's show you this footwork, and then we're gonna get into the awesome different ways to do this. All right, guys, we'll get back to the video in just a second, but if you have not heard, we are in the beta test of X-Dance University. So just go to xdanceuniversity.com. It is the world's first interactive dance training technology, completely different than anything you ever see. And if you go there, you can become a beta tester. We're gonna give you a free month of the platform, learn how to dance for free, and just let us know what you think. Now back to the video. All right, so leader's footwork first. He's stepping straight back for 1, and then he's gonna begin to step out of the slot for count 2. He's gonna stay out of the slot for 3, and back into the slot for 4, and then we have our anchor in place. Now follower's footwork, she's stepping forward for 1, forward for 2, she's beginning to curve for 3, crossing in front, finishing the rotation for 4, 5, and 6. All right, guys, so I didn't want to give you guys the impression that is the side pass. That is a side pass. It's one of many. So that is called a left side pass because she's passing me on my left side and I'm stepping out of the way. Now, one thing I'll say here is that a lot of leaders sometimes get confused because this is called left side pass and he has to step out to the right, but she's actually, it's where she goes, she's passing on the left side. One more quick note here, just to clear up some confusion. We teach this on count 1. Just a point, some of you probably learned this a little bit differently. We teach this straight for count 1. And I'm gonna explain to you why, because there's sometimes that people will tell you to do this on count 1, and that actually is just functionally broken. I'm gonna explain to you why that is. I wanna lead her with my body. If she has leverage and we're moving away from each other, so like we have this kind of like stretching a rubber band, if I do this, she's connected to that elasticity. However, on the other hand, if I do this, I'm not getting the motion to lead her forward, and it's actually gonna create a little bit of rotation. It's just completely, just don't do that no matter who tells you that. Just, actually you can lead her to start here, and then when she started, you can literally get out of the way. You don't have to lead it beyond that point. Okay, all right guys, so from this one thing, there's a bunch of different ways. There's probably hundreds of different ways you can do this. We're not gonna show you hundreds, we're gonna show you a few different ways, just so that you get the idea of how this works. Now, we did another video where we talked about how your footwork doesn't matter, and it really, really doesn't. We're gonna link that here, it's gonna be down in the description. But where you go and what you do, what the idea is what matters. The foundation, like that's the base that everything goes. So what we've done is what's called a left side pass. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. I've stepped out to the right, she's passed by my left shoulder. Now, if I were to step, and I don't care about your footwork at this point, but if I were to step out the other way, instead of stepping out here and letting her pass by my left shoulder, what I've actually done is I've stepped out the other direction and let her pass under the arm. This is called an underarm pass. The cool thing about this, her footwork, exactly the same. There's no difference in what she's doing. She just has to learn this one different thing and let him hold hands and touch her differently is basically what I'm saying.
Appropriately.
So, appropriately, yes. So if I'm here and I do a left side pass, she's going by my left shoulder. Here, on the other hand, I'm getting out to the other direction. I can bring the hand up and allow her to pass on the other side. Now that's called an underarm pass for obvious reasons, okay? So she doesn't have to learn anything new. If we wanted to break down the footwork quickly, I would step back. I teach this as he's stepping out of the way for count 2, allowing her to pass as I stay out of the slot for 3, and stepping back in for 4, 5, and 6. Same pattern, just looks different, okay? Now, from here, if we can get to a right to right hand hold, nice to meet you, then we can do what's called a right side pass, because now from this point I'm stepping to lead her forward, stepping out of the slot and allowing her to go pass as I switch hands. So if we were to do like an underarm pass, switch that hand, usually on the anchor step, I can lead her from that opposite hand. This is just a left side pass, but I'm doing a hand switch. It just looks different, okay?
Yep.
So, but if we've got this hand, couldn't we also do an underarm pass from this side where I step this way and lead her over the top? I continue to face in that direction and switch hands behind my back. Let me show you that again. We do the same thing where I'm stepping out of the way. Her footwork's still the same. The footwork is very, very similar where I'm stepping out to my left. She's gonna pass by my right shoulder and I switch that over her head, still facing backwards, switch behind my back. Now she's behind me, right? From here, I can lead her forward by stepping forward and do another underarm pass to switch that hand that way. okay? This is all just the same stuff. There's no magic here. There's no like, you have to learn all this stuff. Learn one thing and a bunch of different ways to do it. So so far we have a left side pass. We have an underarm pass, same footwork for her. Now we switched hands, we're leading her pass this way. We're gonna keep that hand. We're gonna now send her through. I'm still facing from whence I came, leading her forward from here, still the same pattern. Now, within this, we can also do variations where maybe he turns, and so on and so forth. The time that I usually like to turn, for example, is when I know she's going to be stationary. And usually she's going to be stationary during that anchor in place. So if I were to turn her, like for an underarm pass, she has section 1, section 2. Now I know she's going to be staying here for the 5 and 6, and I could just turn under. My turn doesn't necessarily have to affect her turn, right? So she doesn't have to turn. So followers, sometimes when I start turning, they go, like I'm supposed to do stuff. You don't have to do stuff unless he leads you to do stuff. So again, that's just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and he could come under for 5 and 6. Now, as she's rotating for section 2, here's another variation. He could go 1, 2 like a left side pass, and as she's traveling past, he could just roll into that arm, 5 and 6. All right, guys, it's just not that complicated. It's just, it seems so overwhelming when people try to learn all of these steps and all of this stuff. It's really, really simple. I didn't mean it's easy. I just mean it's simple. It's just not overwhelming like a lot of people make it sound to be, okay? So it is really, really simple. There's certain things that you learn to do that, and then you just learn to do it different ways, okay? So now there are literally hundreds of different ways that, or I mean hundreds or thousands maybe of different ways that you could do side passes, okay? We just covered a few. The main point is just getting you guys to understand, like, it's really simple. There's only certain core basic elements, okay? Now, if you want more hand changes and more different ways, check this out. Go to www.xdanceuniversity.com, because in Xdance University, that's our virtual training platform. It's not like here on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, where there's just a video. This is interactive. It's almost like you're in person taking a private lesson, okay? So just go to xdanceuniversity.com. We can give you guys a free month to check that out. There's gonna be literally, and we're still building out the platform, there's literally going to be hundreds of ways to do side passes. Check that out. Yep. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys. And if there's anything you guys would like to see here on the channel, just comment down below. We do read and respond to every single comment. We love the feedback from you guys. Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.